Welcome to the Live Free, Love Life podcast, where we discuss how to create more freedom so we can love our lives no matter what we're going through. Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to today's episode of the Live Free, Love Life podcast. I'm your host, Mindy Neal, and today we are going to be talking about a phrase that we have all heard probably a million times, and that is the truth will set you free. It is one of those sayings that get tossed around so much that we often forget to really think about what it means. But let me tell you, as someone who has spent years helping countless people transform their lives, this little nugget of wisdom is more powerful than you might think. So what does it really mean? And more importantly, how can it help you create the life that you have always dreamed of? So buckle up, my friends, because we are about to dive deep into the transformative power of truth. Now, let's start with something that might feel a little uncomfortable. Facing reality. I know. Sometimes reality isn't all sunshine and rainbows. But here's the thing. Avoiding the truth doesn't change it. It just keeps us stuck. Think about it like this. Imagine you're navigating through a city, but you refuse to look at the map because you don't like where you are. You keep walking around, hoping that you'll magically end up where you want to be. It sounds pretty silly, right? But that's exactly what we do when we avoid facing our personal truths. So I remember working with a client, let's call her Sarah. Sarah came to me because she felt stuck in her career. She kept talking about how unfair her boss was and how the company didn't appreciate her. But as we dug deeper, we uncovered a truth that she had been avoiding. She didn't actually like her job. She had chosen it because it was what her parents wanted for her, not what she wanted for herself. Facing this truth was hard for Sarah. It meant acknowledging that she had spent years of her life on a path that wasn't right for her. It wasn't the path that she ever wanted to be on. But you know what? Once she faced that truth, everything changed. She felt a weight lift off her shoulders. Suddenly, she had the freedom to explore what she really wanted to do with her life. Another client, let's call her Renee, came to me frustrated with her marriage. She complained about how her husband never listened to her. He was always working and how she felt neglected. As we worked together, Renee had to confront a difficult truth. She had been passive aggressive and resentful rather than directly communicating her needs or doing anything to take care of her needs. This realization was tough for Renee. It meant acknowledging that she played a role in the problems in her marriage. But once she faced this truth, she was able to take responsibility for her part. She learned to communicate more effectively and how to take care of her own needs. And she started showing up differently in her relationship. The change in her marriage was remarkable, all because she was willing to face the truth about her own behavior. That's the power of self-honesty. It might sting at first, but it's the first step towards real change and freedom. Whether it's in your career, your relationships, or any other area of life, facing reality opens up possibilities you couldn't see before. Now let's talk about how truth plays out in our relationships. How many times have you bitten your tongue to avoid conflict? How often have you said, "I'm fine," when you are anything but fine? I get it. Being honest, especially about difficult things, can feel scary. We worry about hurting others or facing rejection. But here's the truth bomb. Authentic communication is the foundation of strong, healthy relationships. When we speak the truth, we open the door for real connection. We give others the chance to truly see us and understand us. We give ourselves a chance to be loved as we are. And yes, sometimes that means having uncomfortable conversations, but those conversations are where the magic happens. So here's a little tip for communicating difficult truths. Start with I statements. Make it about you. So instead of "you always ignore me," try "I feel hurt when I don't feel heard." Not only is this taking responsibility for how you feel, which you know I'm a huge proponent of, this approach is less likely to put the other person on the defensive and more likely to lead to a productive conversation, making it easier for you to keep being honest and telling the truth in the future. Remember, every time you choose honesty over hiding, you are choosing freedom. You are choosing to be authentically you rather than a version of yourself that you think others want to see. Okay, now let's go into my favorite topic, which is Your thoughts. As a thought expert, yes, that is a real thing, I have seen firsthand how our thoughts can either liberate us or hold us captive. So here's a truth that might blow your mind. Any thought that makes you feel trapped, stuck, or limited is not capital T truth. It's just a thought, and thoughts can be changed. Let me say that again for the people in the back. If you don't feel free, that means you are thinking something that isn't true because the truth sets you free. Remember? If you are feeling frustrated, anxious, fearful, dread, worried, self-doubt, you're thinking something that isn't true. That is not an exhaustive list. Those are just some really good examples. If you are feeling any of those emotions, you are thinking something that isn't true. We know that because these emotions don't feel like freedom. When we start to question and challenge what we're thinking, we open up a world of possibilities. So let's practice. Think of something that you have been telling yourself that makes you feel any of these emotions. Maybe it's, I'm too old to change careers. I'll never find love again. I'm not smart enough to start my own business. It could be anything. So do you have yours? Okay, now here's what I want you to do. Number one, recognize it is just a thought, not a fact. Number two, ask yourself, is this 100% true? And spoiler alert, it's not. Number three, what evidence do I have that contradicts this thought? Find the evidence that that is not true. And number four, how would I feel and what would I do if I didn't believe this thought? This process of questioning our thoughts is like cleaning a dirty window. Suddenly, you can see clearly again. You realize that what you thought was the edge of your world was just a smudge on the glass. Okay? Now that we've talked about challenging our limiting thoughts, let's take it a step further. It's not just about questioning what we currently believe, it's also about actively seeking out new, more empowering truths. Think of your mind like a garden. Challenging limiting thoughts is like pulling out the weeds. But if we stopped there, we are left with bare soil. To create a beautiful, thriving garden, we need to plant new seeds. That is where seeking out truth comes in. One of the reasons I am such an avid reader and why I always encourage my clients to read is that books are an incredible source of new, empowering thoughts. They're like fertilizer for our mental gardens. Every time I read, I'm exposing myself to new ideas, perspectives, and truths that I can apply to my own life. But it's not just about passively absorbing information. It's about actively seeking out truths that resonate with you and can help you grow. So here's how I approach it. Step one, diversify your sources. Don't just stick to one type of book or one perspective. Read widely, listen to podcasts, attend seminars, join memberships. The more diverse your sources, the more comprehensive your understanding becomes. Number two, question everything. Even when you're reading something you agree with, maintain a curious, questioning mindset. Ask yourself, how does this apply to my life? What evidence do I see for this? How might this change my current perspective? Number three, look for the nuggets. Not everything you read will resonate, and that's okay. Look for those nuggets of truth that really strike a chord with you. Those are the seeds you want to plant in your mental garden. Number four, apply what you learn. Knowledge without application is just information. Take those new truths you've discovered and actively apply them to your life. Test them out. See how they work for you. And number five, share with others. One of the best ways to reinforce new truths is to share them. Discuss what you're learning with friends, family, or a coach. Teaching others helps solidify your own understanding. I had a client once, let's call her Emma, who was struggling with self-confidence. We worked on challenging her limiting beliefs, but she still felt stuck, and her brain was resistant to believing something different about herself. So I encouraged her to start actively seeking out new truths about self-worth and confidence. Emma dove in headfirst. In addition to the awesome videos in my program about self-worth, she read books on self-esteem, listened to podcasts about personal growth, and attended a local workshop on self-love. As she exposed herself to these new ideas, her perspective started to shift. She began to see herself in a new light, not because I told her to, but because she had filled her mind with new, empowering truths. Remember, your mind will believe what you consistently tell it. So why not fill it with thoughts that serve you? Seek out truths that uplift you, that challenge you, that help you to grow. Your future self will thank you for it. By actively seeking out truth, you're not just freeing yourself from old limitations, you're opening up a world of new possibilities. And isn't that what freedom is all about? Okay, now that we have discussed facing reality, communicating authentically, challenging limiting thoughts, and seeking out truth, the final step is embracing your authentic self. Being your authentic self means aligning your actions with your true values, desires, and beliefs. It means making choices based on what's true for you, not what you think you should do or what others expect of you. I often ask my clients, if you could be anyone without fear of judgment or failure, who would you be? The answers are always illuminating because deep down, we all know who we really are. You know who you really are. We've just gotten really good at hiding it. But here is the beautiful truth. When you embrace your authentic self, you become free. Free from the exhaustion of pretending, free from the constant worry of what others think, free to pursue what really lights you up. I had a client once, let's call him Mike, who spent years hiding his passion for art because he thought it wasn't a respectable career. He had a high-paying corporate job that looked great on paper, but left him feeling empty inside. When he finally allowed himself to pursue art, not only did he feel more fulfilled, but he actually became more successful than he ever was in his corporate career. Why? Because he was finally aligned with his true self. Embracing your authentic self isn't always easy. It often means making tough choices and sometimes disappointing others. But the freedom and fulfillment that come with it are worth it. So, how do we take all of this and apply it in our daily lives? Here are some actionable steps that you can take. Step number 1, practice radical honesty with yourself. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what truth am I avoiding? Or what truth am I hiding from? Number 2, start small with authentic communication. Choose one relationship where you will commit to being more honest and open. Step number 3, challenge one limiting thought each day. Use the 4-step process that we discussed earlier. Step number 4, actively seek out new empowering truths. Commit to reading, listening to, or watching something that expands your mind for at least 15 minutes every day. Keep a truth journal where you write down new insights and how you can apply them to your life. Step number 5, make decisions based on your authentic desires. Before making a choice, ask yourself, is this aligned with who I really am? And step number 6, surround yourself with truth tellers. Seek out relationships with people who will lovingly hold you accountable to your truths. Remember, this is a practice. You won't suddenly become a truth-telling, authenticity-embracing guru overnight. But with consistent effort, you'll find yourself becoming freer and happier than you ever thought possible. Here are some questions to consider. What truth about yourself have you been avoiding facing? In what areas of your life do you feel most authentic? Least authentic? What's one limiting thought you've been believing? And how can you challenge it? If you were living completely authentically, what would be different about your life? And what's one small step you can take today towards being more honest with yourself or others? Take some time to journal about these questions. Your answers might surprise you, and they might just be the keys to unlocking a new level of freedom in your life. The truth will set you free isn't just a catchy phrase. It is a profound principle that, when applied, has the power to radically transform your life. By facing reality with courage, communicating authentically, challenging our limiting thoughts, seeking out truth, and embracing our true selves, we open the door to a kind of freedom many of us have never experienced. Remember, freedom is the only condition for happiness, and the path to freedom, it's paved with truth. So I challenge you to choose truth. Choose it even when it's uncomfortable, even when it means making hard decisions, even when it feels easier to hide. Because on the other side of that truth is the life you've always dreamed of, a life of freedom, authenticity, and deep fulfillment. You have the power to create that life. You have the power to set yourself free. And all it takes is a commitment to truth. So what do you say? Are you ready to embrace truth and step into freedom? The choice is yours. And I, for one, can't wait to see the amazing things you'll do with your newfound freedom. Until next time, live free, love life. Thank you for watching this episode of Live Free, Love Life. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, comment, and share. See you next time.